Bitcoin has had a rough time in the past couple of days. It has been falling and falling and falling, going all the way from the recent top of about $109,000 down to where it is currently, as recording this video, at about $97,000. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the reasons why. We're going to talk about the tariffs, and we're also going to talk about the Bitcoin performance versus other indexes. But before we get to that, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit that like button, and be sure to follow me on X and also on Threads. There's also going to be something very interesting going on in the options market, as well as some liquidations that are going to be possible later on in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you guys are watching the whole video. So Bitcoin is down and it's losing support. We've seen it go through 3 levels of support right now, and it seems like it's heading back into this support band. This is the big support band that I've had up probably for the last past couple of months, and this support band has held for the majority of that time. In fact, it's held since about November or so. Now, as a reminder, the support band goes from about 94,000 down to about 91,000, and what we're seeing right now with Bitcoin's decline is largely as a result of the talk of tariffs and the effect that's going to have on both the traditional markets and on cryptocurrency as well. And my expectations are that when the traditional markets are going to open tomorrow, that we're actually going to see a large decline in traditional markets, and then that will have a carry-on effect to the Bitcoin market and cryptocurrencies at large. In fact, if we go ahead and take a look at our liquidations for Bitcoin, we can see here in the last 24 hours that longs have gotten blown up to the tune of about $102 million. They've lost about $102 million on long bets. Now, if you look at the total of crypto entirely, you can see over the last 2 days that we've had $385 million worth of long liquidations on one day and about $400 million worth of long liquidations on the other day. So it's been a rough weekend to say the least for crypto, and it seems like the market right now is not adjusting very well to the idea that tariffs are coming and it's going to impact the U.S. economy, which is also going to impact the crypto market as well. Now, looking at a liquidation heat map for Bitcoin here, you can see that there's 2 large pockets of liquidity, of specifically of short liquidity, that's sitting at about $107,000. There's a huge band right here, a couple hundred million right here, and then there's another large band above that at about $109,000, and this is another couple $100 million worth or so. So if Bitcoin does actually wind up finding some support, you can see here that if it does go back above those levels at about 107K, you can actually see a large amount of short liquidity and a large number of shorts get liquidated, and Bitcoin would probably propel itself to a new all-time high. But it would have to get past that level first. It would have to get to about 107K, and then from there, you'd have a nice little springboard to propel you to about 111,000. That would be my guess. But first, we have to kind of get there. And right now, we're just seeing nothing short of Bitcoin weakness. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at our options market here, we can see that looking at the 7th of February, that's the next largest date of expiry for Bitcoin options. That's going to be $1.7 billion worth of options set to expire. However, the max pain price is sitting at about $102,000. So traders right now are betting at about $102,000 by the end of the week, which actually I think is fairly bullish considering where we are right now, sitting at about 97K. So traders right now are thinking that actually Bitcoin is going to rise by the end of the week. Now, we'll see if that's going to be the case. I'd kind of be surprised that we're actually going to see that, but this is what traders are currently thinking. Again, max pain price, the level at which causes the most losses for all of the options holders. Now, one of the reasons why Bitcoin has been declining has been because of the miners selling, and The miners reserve, if you take a look at this on crypto quant, you can actually see here over the last year, the miners reserves, or the number of coins in Bitcoin miners wallets, has been falling from about a year ago, from about 1,831,000 to where we are currently at about 1,809,000. So we've seen a large decline, 20, 30,000 Bitcoin or so get sold off over the last year for these miners. And again, that's not a huge surprise, but the selling has been accelerating. If we take a look at the all time, we can see here that over the last year, we've seen a sharp acceleration in the number of coins being sold from miners. And this likely has to do with the fact that we had the halving happen last year. And so they have to sell because they're essentially getting less revenue in. They're having less Bitcoin being mined out there, and so they have to sell in order to pay for their operations. So this is honestly not that surprising, but this is one of the forces that's pushing Bitcoin down. And not only are we seeing miners sell, but we're also seeing some whales sell as well. This is the wallet known as Mr. 100. They have been selling a large amount of Bitcoin, $700 or 700 Bitcoin, 800 Bitcoin, 600 Bitcoin over the last couple of weeks. And this is something that we've seen. This wallet does like to trade in and out of their Bitcoin position, and so we're having an example of whales that are selling right now. This specific wallet does like to trade, so it wouldn't surprise me if they wind up buying the dip near that 90,000 region, which is what I talked about here in the support band. My expectation would be that they're probably going to wind up buying within this support band, as I mentioned earlier. But this whale wallet's just one example. You go ahead and take a look at the miners reserve, you take a look at the market panic, and then that kind of all compounds the liquidations that we've seen from long positions, and that's primarily the reason why we've seen Bitcoin sell over the past couple of days. Now, what's interesting, I don't want to talk just about the negative and the bearish and the reasons why Bitcoin is falling, but I want to also talk about the positive aspects as well. And I've seen some stories recently talking about U.S. states considering strategic Bitcoin reserves. All right, so this is very interesting. If these states wind up having this strategic Bitcoin reserve, they could wind up buying Bitcoin in the same way that you might have a gold reserve. And so this would increase the adoption and the overall success of the Bitcoin blockchain by having more people that are interested in buying Bitcoin. So this is something I think would be very positive and bullish. Well, I have not seen any of these states actually do the strategic Bitcoin reserve just yet, but if that happens, I will make a video on that. Now, in this article, it doesn't talk about every single one of them that's doing it, but it's mentioning there are some states that are considering it, Montana and South Dakota specifically. So this is something I'll be watching more in depth. Now, I also want to go ahead and go over the Bitcoin ETFs and their inflows or their net flows. And coming over here to Soso Value, you can see here that the inflows have actually been green. So more buyers than sellers when it comes to Bitcoin spot ETFs. And that's, again, one of the reasons why we've seen the Bitcoin price increase so much over the past couple of months. And this would be something that I would look at if I was concerned about the demand side for Bitcoin. I would go ahead and look at this, and I would see if there's significant selling. Like for instance, back in April of last year, we had significant selling, almost 4 consecutive weeks of net outflows, and that would give me more of an idea that the market is finally turning against Bitcoin and that demand is finally tapering off, and that is not something that I've seen just yet. Now, actually, as a reminder, looking at the NASDAQ 100 over the year to date, it's up only 2.4%. And even over the last year, it's only up 21%. Now, compare that to Bitcoin, which is up 5% year to date, and it is up about 127% over the past year. All right. So just something to keep in mind. And I think that it's important to pay attention to the near term, but also to focus more on the long term. Long term, Bitcoin's still set up to be a fantastic performing asset. In the short term, right now, we're looking at some potential weakness due to tariffs and the market panic that's going to result from those tariffs. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you think that this whole situation is overblown, if you think that Bitcoin is going to rally tomorrow, or we're going to wind up seeing some more bullish action, leave a comment below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.